Hi there, I'm Ken Wimberly. I've had the great privilege to get to know, be around, and spend time with some very successful people and very financially wealthy and successful individuals. And I've observed with a lot of them that they've spent a great deal of effort and time to teach their children to remain grounded and humble. And a couple of examples of that, one was my grandfather, and a story that's been passed on to me from my uncle was that at one point my grandfather had a desk full, if you were, a desk drawer full of checks that he had made from jobs that he had done in the construction business. I remember my uncle shared that he had showed all those checks to him. My grandfather showed them to my uncle, and he said, look, with all this money right here and these checks, I could go buy a brand new Lincoln, which was always kind of his thing. He wanted to buy a new Lincoln Town Car. And he said, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take this money, I'm going to go invest it into our business and buy another piece of equipment so that we can grow the business. And that's what he did. He continued to grow the business until one day he could afford all the Lincolns he wanted right there, and built a very successful business. But it's kind of a way that I thought was showing of how to remain grounded and wise in reinvesting money right there. Another kind of way, Gary Keller had built the largest residential real estate firm in the country. And he'd shared a story that he didn't fly first class until after that. He had already had a massive amount of success. You would have expected that he could have frankly been flying on a private jet by that point, but he was still flying coach for a while and finally started flying first class more than anything to save some time. And another thing that Gary Keller did early on is he drove this old, I believe is a Honda, an old Honda that he beat up Honda. He drove around and he'd be launching new franchises, driving around an old beat up Honda, signing people up because he was just frugal and wanting to kind of remain frugal, humble, and wise in his business and financial sense right there. Myself, I drove the last car I had. I drove it until it had 364,000 miles. It was a 2001 Toyota Sequoia. I drove that thing until it was almost in the ground. In fact, I still see the vehicle drive around town. We'd sold it and a landscaper bought it, and I still see him driving the car around town today, which is awesome. And today my car, I bought a used car after that, but one that had 50,000 miles on it, and it today has 150,000 miles on it. And I want my kids to see that. It's not about always getting new, better upgrades, fancy. I want my children to see some humility. I want them to see some wisdom in financial management. Another example for me is, I remaining grounded. I have some fancy watches. I rarely wear them. I wear a, Timex Ironman, $30 Timex Ironman watch because, frankly, it's functional. I use it. I run with it. It's got a stopwatch. It's waterproof. It's just one of the ways that I try to remain somewhat grounded. So there's lots of different ways that we can help teach humility, kindness, to our children. And those are just a couple of ways that I've seen teaching smart financial sense and teaching a little bit of humility, kindness, and teaching our children to be grounded. If this is content that you found valuable, we'd love it if you would like the video. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel and click that notify button so that you can get notified when we update videos and they come out with new content. I'm Ken Wimberly. Remember, each and every day, you're creating your legacy. Thanks so much.